You think it's a sin for me to steal? You think it's a sin for me not to pay a bill? But I think it's a sin to be made of flesh that ages. I think it's a sin to have my needs in the hands of strangers. I think it's a sin for you to open the door of darkness and let me into a place that's heartless. I think my skin is a sin. I think the sun is a sin. And I think your penis is a sin. So while you're accusing me of stealing and not paying bills, motherfucker, you actually making products to take care of flesh is a worse crime than anything I could ever do while I'm here. You think I want to age just to die? You think I am happy to take care of a package that's surprised? Motherfucker, I think being ugly is a sin. And since you all allow it to happen, I want all of humanity to burn in hell for all of eternity. There is a celebrity that debuted her career as one of the most unattractive celebrities that ever appeared. And she was as ugly as I am right now. Okay? She was someone you had to work at. She had dehydrated skin, coarse hair, her eyes were yellow, her teeth had to be whitened. She needed a nose job. She had hyperpigmentation. Her eyebrows were not easy to arch at the time. Her lips were kind of bulky and it had lines on it. She was overall someone who you wouldn't consider to be a celebrity beauty. You know, she was someone who could be anyone. She was like anyone could do what she's about to do, which is Botox, cosmetic surgery, masturbate, fantasize, spend a lot of time looking at yourself, dancing in the mirror, getting real sexy with yourself, working it out, believing in yourself, and then making a whole new person like RuPaul. RuPaul, when he's not his drag costume, that's what she was like. Just any old man. But when she glams herself up with the cosmetic surgery, the keto diets, the exercise, the yoga, then all of a sudden she's who she is, a sexy diva, and she's got clear skin and pretty face and cosmetic Botox, But any of us could do that. She was not a natural born beauty. It's like she appeared and debuted as very unattractive. Now, she wasn't but ugly, but her whole situation was a bunch of ugly people. People that were average, nothing special. And society gave her the career she has today. It was like most celebrities make their own way. They come out, they fight, they struggle, they appear, and all of a sudden we just see this dazzling, gorgeous person who's just so well put together. They're talented, they can do everything by themselves. They don't need a man to marry them or the society in which they live to advise them. They don't need people to sit down and coach them and tell them how to develop a unique, individual character, person. They are already that way. That's what makes them someone to celebrate. But the funny thing about this celebrity is she wanted to be that. She wanted it. She wasn't. Some people want to be something. Other people are that regardless of if they obtain it. Some people are unique. And it don't matter if they're a celebrity or not. They're always going to be the most special amongst humanity. They're going to be someone who everyone should have been, but couldn't have been. But should have, but couldn't have. But some people go to Hollywood and no one would want to be them. And they're trying to be like everyone else. Special. They're trying to be your mama. They're trying to be your husband. They're trying to be your wife. They're trying to be somebody to you, But they're not naturally someone that you would see or spend time with. They're a one-on-one person. Like some celebrities, if they never became celebrities, they wouldn't even be friends with a lot of people. Because without money, possessions, and fame, they weren't really nothing special, But I say this because in conjunction with that celebrity's truth, not the lie through cosmetic surgery, Botox, yoga, keto diets, experts, fitness trainers, lots of dancing, lots of sex, lots of money, lots of fame, lots of pleasure, lots of happiness, lots of smiling, lots of I don't have to retreat from who I am. I just burst with energy, and before you know it, I start looking like I'm pretty. Because the more you spend time doing things you like, the prettier you get. If even right now I was taken out of this poverty and put in a more lucrative situation, in about a year and a half, I would start looking younger, even though I'm getting older. Because the more you smile, the more time you spend with people, the more security you have. Sometimes it helps your image to shine, you know? But the total opposite happens if you have the reverse. If people stress you out, if they treat you bad, your image starts to get saggy. Your teeth don't have strength. Your immune system goes down. Your hair falls out. Your hands, nothing, holds on to itself. It starts to get really bad. So that celebrity was going through the opposite of what I'm going through. So she got really pretty. But she started off just like this. Someone whose eyebrows are hard to arch. They ain't much there. Or if there's a lot there. But, it was like someone who was, just average. Like nothing special. I had saw a thumbnail of her on one of her videos, and I was asked, she looked like a monster. It's one of her. I was like, I knew a lot. I was like, that motherfucker's ugly, but after so much fame and success and pleasure and fortune and masturbation and sex and titty fucking and titty sucking and titty loving and kissing and hugging, after so much goodness and treatment and dancing and singing and looking at your ass get bigger and bigger and your titties get plumper and plumper, after seeing your waist be thin and shaking your ass, after you pop and lock and jocking, motherfucker, you start looking good. And after you have your way, you do a couple of these every day, before you know it, you looks like somebody, and so that's what happened to her. She, all of a sudden became gorgeous in the eyes of others because she was able to live a life that makes you feel that you're pretty. So she started to look pretty. When you feel ugly, you sometimes look ugly. When you feel pretty, you sometimes look pretty. So the feelings also affect our appearance. I say this because I want to talk about 3 things that are sin, and I want to talk about what she did, rather what this heaven did about her being such an ugly person. When she was becoming a celebrity, I was growing up and I was leaving my 21 years of child poverty, and my skin was absolutely gorgeous. It was medium bronze, buttery moist. I had a very long, clear neck, but now I used to have lines all over it, scars. I had so much hair all over my body. My eyes were tight, almost like an Asian eye used to be tight, and like it was very tight. My nose was perky and pointy. My lips were all both the same size, no lines. They were sitting on my mouth like a toot, A lot of people have had cosmetic surgery to obtain some of these things I'm saying, but even when they were young, my age, they didn't have these things, And I had a full head of jet black hair. I had an athletic build, and I pretty much had, in my opinion, a good opportunity to age well, or to not age at all, really. But what happened is this celebrity found me with other stereotypical, prototypical mentalities just like her, and they decided to make me homeless. Forget the aging, bitch. I want you under a bridge. I just don't like you. And so what happened was I started going through suffering because of the power and the magnitude of their existence. And I started to suffer and lose my appearance. The first thing that went was my clear skin. I lost my clear skin in 2008 all over my body. My whole face broke out, my neck, my décolleté, I lost everything. I started to have scars all over my body. I lost all my hair 2 years later. I went from 130 pounds to 85 pounds. My eyes started to get real saggy. I lost the line, that elasticity in the eyelid. I never got that back. My skin became really fragile. My immune system dropped. I had a flu for the first time in my life in 2008. And ever since 2008, I've been suffering fatigue, sleep deprivation, and psychological disorders. And it's taken a toll on me. Plus, I've been life threatened by my domestically abusive roommate, rather. My family abandoned me, all this stuff. I know it sounds crazy. And the reason why is because this particular celebrity's mentality wanted to work at her appearance. She wanted to spend the latter part of her life looking and feeling the best she ever looked and felt, which means she wanted her old age to be better than her young age. Well, obviously, that was going to take some work. And she wanted me to have worse problems than when she first became a celebrity. Where she had dehydrated skin, she wanted me to have scarred, dehydrated, and saggy skin. Where she had eyebrows that were hard to arch, she didn't want me to even arch my eyebrows and actually look like really bad. Where she had perhaps teeth that had plaque on it, she wanted me to have yellow teeth and have loss of teeth. Where she had skin that was coarse or patchy or dry, she wanted me to have hair all over my body and not be able to show off my figure. Okay, where she had problems with losing weight or perhaps putting on weight or not having stability in that department, seeing out in her family, people get fat, she wanted me to have a problem with parts of my body and not be able to fix it. Where she had problems with being, restless because of her choices in life. She wanted me not to even sleep any night, It was like, let's make this bitch have a worse experience than someone who made bad choices. And then let's let the person who made bad choices have a better experience than someone's actual given youth of universal proportions, as in appearance and the decency of self. I say all of this because right at the moment that people decided to do this, I felt pretty much cheated. I mean, I never got to live, and my life was taken all of a sudden. It's been constantly consumed and devoured for the past 14 years. And this celebrity had lived her own life, her own choices, did what she wanted to do. And now she has the best life she could ever live now, appearance-wise, perhaps, and maybe even mental. I mean, she's stupid enough to actually believe that everything's working out for her, regardless of the fact that you cannot sell love ballads to men who break laws of science. But, you know, she is what she is, a fool. And so anyways, what it is, I want to talk about 3 sins. Skin, when the K turns to a C, because those 2 letters sound the same, it turns into C sin. Sun is sin, and penis be sin. I want to talk about it. Anyone who has sex is going to hell, okay? Because all you're doing is putting someone in an environment where what they're made of is sin, and what they're using to find all these things out is sin. It's a sin to have a body part that you can't live without outside of you. We cannot live without light, obviously, if we're going to be doing anything. And to have the sun outside of you, that's a sin. Also, it's a sin to share light with your enemy. To share your vitality with your enemy is a sin. To be joined together with your enemy. You know, I would never pick up the earth and force myself or invite myself to shit and piss. So whoever used the sun to make toilets, they're my enemy. You get what I'm saying? So if I use the same light to see as my enemy, that's a sin. Because we're not supposed to use the same light. We're supposed to use a different light. So it's a sin to share your existence with your enemy and use the same vital things that, you know, we don't use the same rifle. Like, you know how if we're fighting a war, I can't use a rifle and use it at the same exact time because we're enemies. Enemies have to hold their weapons. Like, we can't use the same thing. Like, it can't be one of it. It has to be 2 or 3 or 4. It can't be one rifle. We're both trying to, you know, kill each other with the one rifle. I mean, it's possible, but it's like a sin or it's incorrect. But the greatest incorrectness is you can't have your stuff in the hands of others. That's a sin by design. But furthermore, I want to talk about our flesh, our skin. I'm going to call it skin for right now. Flesh turns into flush. Flush means don't ever choose to be made of flesh. Flush it down the toilet. And it turns into flash. Flash, flesh. Because nobody is really the flesh. Flesh is an element, and you can't define anyone by it. If it's clear, that's not who the person is. It's flesh that's preserved. If it's messed up, that's not who the person is. It's flesh that's decomposed. Flash what doesn't define a person, but listen very carefully and use your eye very well to see what people are putting around flesh, around feelings, and around form, because that's more a definition of who people are. Don't look at someone's flesh and stare at it like, girl, you ugly. I'm pretty. I'm somebody. Look at me. Stare real hard at my flesh. See my big titties? They feel good if you suck them. No, we're not supposed to do that. Because honestly, the flesh changes or it stays the same. So that's just a periodic table element knowledge. That's not a person. You know, a car being wrecked or being brand new is not a human being. That's a vehicle performance. And it's always just that. It doesn't define the person. That can happen to anyone. Flesh is like a vehicle. It's like a metal of a car. It can be wrecked or it can be preserved in tip-top condition. It doesn't define the person. It doesn't tell you anything about them at all. All it tells you is that people are not taking care of flesh when you see things that are good and damaged. And then if everything was taken care of, we're doing it right. If you ever see people that are messed up, nobody on earth is taking care of their flesh. Because flesh was one word. It's not individual image. It's one word. It's like glass. When we go to our entrepreneurial endeavors, they tell us to clean the glass even though we didn't dirty it. Even though we didn't put our hands on it. You know how to do it, motherfucker. Even though the people who dirtied it, dirty, you clean it because you know how to do glass. So do what they should have done, but you do it. That's how flesh is. When you see flesh is messed up, whoever has the power to do it, do it. Give the person the surgical cream. Give the person the rest, the days off. Give them the Botox. Give it to them. The same way our managers make us do things that customers could do, that's how y'all supposed to do flesh. Everybody knows what flesh needs. It needs rest. It needs moisturization. It needs a lot of astringents. It needs a lot of butters. It needs a lot of nutrition. It needs a lot of protection. And it also needs a lot of security and rest. You cannot have a person out in the heat, the dehydrating heat, and expect them to come out buttery and moist. You can't have a person with scars on their face working every single day. They have to at least stay home for 6 months and get rid of some of the darkness of the scars. Otherwise, it gets darker and darker and it becomes permanent. You have to let flesh heal if you're going to let it be damaged. If you're going to let something break, you have to be ready to repair it. You can't just let things break and then throw a word on the table and say, oh, that person's just aging. And I'm like, no, I'm not. You're not using your brain for the only thing that you have a brain for. And that's just the bottom line. But I say this because skin turns into sin. See that people are choosing to exist as something that can do wrong. See, sin is doing something wrong, right? Well, if flesh messes up, see sin. How many of y'all say that if you steal, you have to go to jail? And why? Because you did something wrong to a person. Flesh is skin. It's always doing wrong. Everything that goes wrong is sin. Flesh is see sin. Someone being sinned to 24/7. My eyes turn yellow. I didn't do it. This biology sin to me. My teeth turn yellow. I didn't do it. This biology sin to me. My skin wrinkled. I didn't do it. This biology sin to me. I have scars all over my face without having done nothing to deserve. My hair fell out my head because I was working jobs that was stressful. This biology, this skin, sees sin, sees something doing wrong to a person all the time. Hair is coming out of it, pores on it. A soft, meshy thing that could be cut or burned. This is always sin. See sin. See somebody being done wrong and just pass right by it. Go ahead. Cut the umbilical cord in the maternity ward. This celebrity fixed her skin up and she messed mine up. And she's so proud of herself. She's sitting like, I just got my skin the way I wanted. She just got her C-sin the way she wanted. I messed up that bitch C-sin. She gonna be jealous of everybody for the rest of her lifetime. I'm like, oh, you messed up my C-sin. See me being sin 224. You messed it up, didn't you? And you fixed your C-sin. Your C-sin is absolutely gorgeous. Now you're ready to show off C-sin. C-sin, y'all. See that y'all going to hell with me? Come on now. And I'm like, yes, motherfucker. You real smart.